Good morning, students. Welcome back to English online class. This is for ninth standard students. We were talking about or learning about the lesson, A Question of Space by Neera Kashyap. So, in this lesson, the first page warm up activity is about the different kinds of the professions or the occupations what we see around us. So here it has been given some activity just to find out some of the professions, and even I think many of you when you grow up you also choose some of these occupations as a career. So this is the lesson by Neera Kashyap tells us about one of the boy called Vikrant whose parents are doctors. His father and mothers are well known doctors, and they want their child or a son to become a doctor itself. So when he is in class 11th, they just started him telling always that just to concentrate on his studies, and as well or as the next class, that is 12th class, which is very important class, which is very important for his career, where he can get good marks, and if he score good marks then he can look into the entrance exam after the completion of the 12th class, so that he can achieve a very good medical seat in one of the reputed college. So this was their intention and this was their desire. So this boy Vikrant, uh, who always thinks that, always likes, or always he finds that such kinds of a pressure may not be good, because always we see in many houses always parents does this. They want their child to become whatever they think or whatever they desires, but whereas the children, their intention will be somewhat different. So this is here some conflicts will be getting started there between the children and the parents, whereas but there some of among those two, parents or the children, they have to decide any one of the career. So in this lesson Vikrant, whereas he also likes to become or learn or to study or to find his career in one or the other way, but whereas his parents were always telling him to be to have the correct coaching classes, correct tuitions, and learn more things about the this entrance exam, so that he can get a very good medical seat because they are doctors. So this is what Vikrant was feeling right when this was happening in their house. During this period, he had a very good friend Anuj, who was a very good photographer. He has many ideas on photography, and he also showed this his ideas and his feelings in the connectedness between human beings or other living species, on a self improvement of a human development, and even about the universe. He was of such a photographer, and recently they had become friends, and he has Anuj has given Vikrant one of the um, camera, and even he has given him some of the books to read regarding the photography. Now slowly he was being attracted towards Anuj as well as the photography also. So always he started using that Kodak camera and clicking some of the photos, whereas this was being quite observed by his parents. They saw that somewhere he is losing, Vikrant is losing interest in his studies, in his 11th class studies, and he is just concentrating more on the photography. But this, there was some little bit tension between their parents as well as Vikrant. Now here, now Anuj, who is a best friend of Vikrant, he guides him and he gives some suggestions how to get rid of such dilemmas. So one day when they were going for the morning walk, he asked Anuj asked Vikrant what was the situations or what was the conditions or what was his reaction when such things, when such questions or such quizzes by his parents will be going on at home. just he asked Vikrant to just look at his body reactions or body postures, the way he reacts to those questions. So whereas we even also we don't observe such things when we have such kinds of contradictions between our anybody else. So ಈ ರೀತಿ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ನಮ್ದು ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Just we will be speaking and talking, and that too we will go into the high pitch ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಜೋರ್ ಧ್ವನಿ ತೆಗೆದು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೇವೆ, because we will be in some kind of anxiety we will be having there. So pressure irta irtade. So here also Vikrant was not at all observed such things. Now Anuj is suggesting him to look at those things. So now onwards what Vikrant does is, whenever his parents starts asking him some during sorry about his tuition classes, about the studies, so he started observing his postures or the way he speaks, or the variations in his pulse rate, or sometimes he felt his nerves getting tightens there. That is what is given here. Somewhere he finds that breathing will be raised there. So taste in your, on your tongue also, and muscle contraction, these are the some things even we also feel, but we just don't concentrate on such things. But whereas now Anuj is expressing these things to Vikrant, now he started observing these things, whereas we have to do such things when we are in a very bad mood or the bad temper, and also can be seen when we are happy and we are enjoying. ಎಂಜಾಯ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಹದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗೋ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳು ವೆನ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಮೂಡ್ ಆರ್ ವೆನ್ ಸ್ಯಾಡ್ನೆಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್, ಅವಾಗಲೂ ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಸಜೆಷನ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಬೈ ಅನುಷ್. ಸೊ not only this, he's telling him, he is guiding him that somewhere we can get the solutions if we see such things, if we concentrate on such things, we follow on these things, then we can get a solution of some of the difficulties there what we will be facing at home, or not only in the home, somewhere we meet very close relatives or the friends, or we have some conflicts between them. So ನಮ್ಮ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳು ಏನೇ ಇದ್ರೂ solutions we can get it when we start concentrating or looking at those reactions, how our body uh, responds during such times. So this is what he is telling, and also some of the suggestions is being given here by Anush. We will be seeing or reading today in this lesson. So this is how when we are happy, the way how we respond, that is also some example Anush is giving him. And now even during this period also his parents always asking him to join some of the coaching classes for the coming academic year as well as for entrance exam. But whereas he is having too much already tuition classes, he is saying that he doesn't desire to join any of the coaching classes. That was the some tension was, the distance was started there between their parents as well as Vikrant now. So today we will start our class with I think yeah, we will start our paragraph with the 21. So Vikrant's father asked him whether he has joined any of the coaching center for his entrance test, but he is saying no. Vikrant, no, what do you mean no? If you still have not found out, when do you intend to enroll? If you are not at all found any coaching classes, then when do you want to join them? When you want to start learning on these things? So a little bit his father is asking him, so I don't know, I'm already full of tuitions, bio, maths, physics, chemistry, it is tough. I can't do tuition. Vikrant noticed that his mouth was dry. Look at this. Already Anuj has given some guidelines or some suggestions to him just to observe the way how the body responds when we get some that is what some tension starts in us, some kind of a anxiety or nervousness starts in us. That is what his mouth was dry, his head tight at the temples, his body slightly hunched. So start at this sometimes when we are ನಮಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಭಯ ಆದಾಗ sweating ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ, somewhere throat dryness, isn't that so? Here also, and breathing here also he is saying that somewhere his temples tightens, and that is what some ನರಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಬಿಗಿತಾ ಬರ್ತದೆ, dryness ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ, somewhere the headache starts. Okay, so here also he found such things in him, and his body slightly haunted, somewhere ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದು ಬಾಡಿ ಪಾಸ್ಚರ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂದ್ರೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಕುಂದ್ರೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳು he observed those things. Then tuitions for medical entrances are not just tuition, they coach you for a career, for a highly competitive exam. One wrong answer could make all the difference. It would be better if you turned your attention to investigating a coaching center rather than spend time with junkies and irrelevant things. Finished Vikrant's father. So look at this, what his father is telling, that why can't you enroll your name in any of the coaching classes, because those classes will help you a lot. There you can get a good coaching and the tuitions, because you have to concentrate more on your entrance exam where you can score more marks instead of rather than, because one wrong answer could make all the difference. So I think many of you know what kind of the entrance exams are there for the engineering or the medical seats when you complete your second PU, isn't that? So here, whenever you get one wrong answer, your marks will be negative marks you may get there. So that is what his father is telling him. So if one answer is wrong, that you may lose some of the marks also. So why can't you join any of the coaching classes and turn your attention to invest it in, just go on look at the very good coaching classes and join, instead of why do you always be concentrating more of the unwanted and irrelevant in ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲದ ಕೆಲಸಗಳನ್ನು ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ. Your first priority is to look at the tuition classes and join for those things. Why will always you will be doing some unwanted irrelevant things ಬೇಕೇ ಆಗಿರೋದನ್ನ ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. So his father is asking him, his father is questioning him. So now what Vikrant does is, Vikrant noticed that his father last remark sent a strong wave of heat through his otherwise weary body, galvanizing him to leave the room without another word. Vikrant knew these conflicts were not getting him anywhere. It was not as if he felt medicine was all wrong for him. He just did not want to be bulldozed like this. Bulldozed into working 3 shifts a day, 6 days a week. He felt he needed time to pursue his own interests and pleasures, especially after his meeting with Anuj. Anuj spoke to him on various issues of the beginning of life, the places he traveled to, the elements he used to compose, photograph, self observation. If you can express yourself without feeling, you can feel as well without expressing, he said. See, when his father, Vikrant's father, is asking such things, is telling him to join one of the coaching classes. So now Vikrant observed that the last thing what his father said is, why do you spend time with junkies and irrelevant things? That makes him to provoke, that makes him to feel, that makes him to think or concentrate on himself, because already he had got some suggestions from Anuj. Now he found that already uh, he was concentrating more on his body posture and the way how the muscles contractions, and about he was just looking at the breathings and the way how the mouth or the throat gets dry. So now also he found that his somewhere his weary body was getting those things in his, he started observing, and immediately what he did is he left that room, because that was not the only thing we can do when our parents ask these questions. ಅದು ಒಂದೇ ದಾರಿ ಅಲ್ಲ ರೀ. ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೆಸ್ಪಾಂಡ್, ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ದಮ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಜಾಗ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೊರಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದು, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗುಡ್ ಈವನ್, isn't that? So this is what he did there, but later on he realized that somewhere these conflicts were getting him anywhere. ಅದು ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೂ ಪರಿಹಾರ ಅಲ್ಲ. This is not a solution for him. But whereas he was knowing that somewhere this medicine, what his parents are suggesting him, advising him to join medicine, that is also not a wrong idea. That is also a very good thing, isn't that? Because he can achieve more success in this field also as a doctor. So that he found that he know that medicine is also a very good career where he can achieve success there. But what he did is what bulldozed. So note down their new words. What is the bulldoze thing here is just working always on these tuition classes, coaching classes. So he is not at all getting any pleasure time. Is what about his interest? What about his hobbies? So just he's thinking that, and daily morning tuition classes, evening tuition classes, afternoon tuition, daily he has to move on to the schools and after later on to the tuition classes. So a shift a day, 6 days a week, three shift a day, 6 days a week. This is what he used to do daily. He used to go for the school, then he has to attend some of the tuition classes. But what about he needed the time to pursue his own interests and pleasures, especially after meeting with Anuj. Now, when he met Anuj, his the interest about his hobbies or about his photography and his hobbies. So he wanted to get some time for his interest and some of his hobbies. That is what Anuj also wanted him to get some time for his interest and some pleasures. So now Anuj spoke to him whenever they meet. Always Anuj will be telling some things. He will be always guiding him. Now he said that how did he started his career? How did he started his life as a photographer? And also the places he traveled. He was telling those his experiences also. Somewhere he's found that photographers his self observation, that is what how he observed how the body responds when he travels, when he talks, when he comes, when he feels happy. When we overcome when we concentrate on such things, we can overcome some of the tensions or some of the conflicts what is there between our parents and ourselves. So here again the very important thing what Anuj is telling is, look at this sentence here: if you can express yourself without feeling, when you concentrate more on your body posture or body reactions, body feelings, then what is that is you can express without feeling. Feeling ಇಲ್ದೇನೂ express ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, but whereas you can feel as well without expressing. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡದೇನು ನಿನಗೆ ಆ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದು ಫೀಲ್ ಆಗುವಂಥ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ this is idea or the guidance what Anuj has given him. Just he is telling him to be calm, cool, and listen what your parents, they are elder to you, what they are telling you, and get some time for your interest and for your pleasures also. Just sort out this tension what is the distance is between getting too larger there. So this is what Anuj is giving him a guidance. So he's even saying that when alone Vikrant tried to practice emotions he had not experienced. See, now after getting some suggestions from Anuj, even now Vikrant also starting concentrating more on his reactions, on his emotions, on his feelings. Now, because earlier he was not having the had some such experiences. Now, after getting the suggestions from Anuj, he's concentrating more on his feelings, emotions, and he's also experiencing those things also. At first, these things found him. He found him as joy, spontaneity, excitement. ಅದನ್ನ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದಂಗೆ there he found them all very joyous, and somewhere there were spontaneity, that is what the natural thing what commonly we get it, and even somewhere he found it excitement. But better on ಅದನ್ನೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದಾಗ somewhere he has become neutral there. Then what happened, he's practiced a wider range of suspicions, hostility, daring, joy, scorn. Whenever in the earlier paragraphs we have seen there, whenever their parents used to start asking him, questioning him, so he used to start responding in a very wrong way, because they are already elder to him. But whereas he younger, idru ಎದುರಿಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು, somewhere he went out of that room also. ಅವ್ನು ಉತ್ತರನೇ ಕೊಡದೆ ಎದ್ದು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು. But whereas Anuj, what has asked him to do, concentrate more on his body posture or emotions. Now, what he is seeing there, somewhere he found that is also helping him. Somewhere he gets that daring is also there, and ಅದನ್ನ ನಾನು ವಿರೋಧನ ಮಾಡೋದು ಕಲ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಿ ಅವ್ರು. Somewhere he found it as a joy, daring, and suspicion. So each with its accompanying posture and gestures. ನಾವು ಕೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, ನಾವು ಫೇಸ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು ನಮ್ಮ ಫೇಸು, ಕಣ್ಣು ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ we talk or speak, when we respond, isn't that? So this is what Vikrant also started looking at his gestures and the postures of his body. Somewhere he found that he can sort out some of his problems with his parents with cool and a calm thing, because already Anuj has said him, you can express yourself without feeling. You can express without feeling, and you can feel without expressing also. So this is, he took it as a guidelines. So he started looking at his emotions and the reactions. So his experiments with self observation helped him see a whole range of his body reactions, the effect that different emotions had on the body, and how the mind got involved with these. But things did not seem to change with his parents, who he realized would continue treating him like a child, so as long as he just chaffed and reacted. So he started looking at those things. He started looking his emotions, reactions, the postures. On ಕೈ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, ಹೌದಾ, ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಧ್ವನಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಕಣ್ಣು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. What all the things is he found, he experienced those things, but ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಆದ್ರೂ he found that somewhere his parents may not be changed there. ಅವ್ರು ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಬದಲೇ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Always they will be giving him some kind of a stress, some kind of a opposition what his thinking about his interest. So somewhere he found that ಅವನಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇರಿಟೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಹೇಗೆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, because day by day morning ಆಯ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ರಾತ್ರಿ ಆಯ್ತಂದ್ರೆ always they will be asking him about his career and about his classes and about his school. Somewhere ಅವನಿಗೆ ಅದು that is what chaffed and reacted. So what Anuj now he tells is, don't worry too much about the change, advised Anuj, noting Vikrant's discouragement one evening. You cannot really change anything till things are ready for change. Just do your part. So Anuj even now also ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಮಾಧಾನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. Don't worry Vikrant. He observed that Anuj observed that Vikrant is following his words. He started looking at his emotions. He is concentrating on more his body posture. ದೇಹದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗೋ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಅನುಜಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು. And also he is giving him other suggestions also, not to be worried more and just see that do your part. ನಿಂದು ಏನು ಕೆಲಸ ಇದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಮಾಡು, and you can't really change anything till the things are. ಹೌದಾ, ಎದುರುಗಡೆಯವ್ರು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದಾಗ ಅವಾಗ ನಾವು ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಬಟ್ ವಿ ಅವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಇಫ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಸಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಗೋ ರಾಂಗ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ದ ಒನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಬೈ ಅನುಷ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಯಾ ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಡಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಸೆಡ್ ವಿಕ್ರಾಂತ್ ವಿತ್ ಡಿಜೆಕ್ಷನ್. ಸಮ್ವೇರ್ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಬಹಳ ದುಃಖ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, nervousness is started there. So ಒಂಥರದ್ದು ಡಿಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅವ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, no, yeah, I will concentrate on more on emotions. But somewhere I'm finding it is not helpful also. But again, Anush, what he says is, Anush thought for a long while, then he spoke. If you really want to get control over a situation, there are two more steps for you to practice. So good friend he is. Even he is suggesting another two steps what he can follow to get resolve this problem. There is a conflict between his parents and himself. So two other more ideas or two other more steps Anush tells him after thinking a long time. ಬಹಳೊತ್ತು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಅನುಷ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನ್ರಿ, the moment an active feeling comes which you think should be controlled, make a note of it but don't express it. So always he'll be guiding him. So what Anuj is now telling is, just a moment an active feeling comes which you think should be controlled. Immediately ಸಿಟ್ಟು ಬರೋದು, immediately anxiety ಆಗೋದು, ಹೌದಾ, ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಇರ್ಬೇಕ್ರಿ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಎದುರಿನವ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ದನ್ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಅವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್. ನಮ್ಮನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ದೆನ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಅ ನೋಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್, ನಾನು ಎದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂದಿದೆ ನನಗೆ. So just look at this, what point you're thinking or you're controlling about it. Just note it, and then but don't react or don't express anything. Just be cool, be calm, have a patience. Then what is the last step? Vikrant asked, what is the next step? Okay, now I will control myself. Then what is the next last step? Vikrant almost mechanically is asking, now he want to follow what the guidance are given by Anuj now, because that is somewhat found that it is all started working there. ಇದು ನನಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ now he is asking the last step. The last one is difficult, replied Anush. This step involves expressing an emotion opposite what you feel and can be done only if you are agitated. You observe this but choose to express calm or warmth instead of coldness. The last step is nothing but whenever last is ನೀನು ಬಹಳ ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಬಹಳ ಮೂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಯಿತು, ದೆನ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಯೂಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ನೀನು ಬಹಳ ಸಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂದಿರ್ತದೆ, ಬಹಳ ದುಃಖ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ, ಬಟ್ the way of other totally opposite you have to react, totally opposite. So and also you have to see that choose to express calm or warmth instead of coldness. ಬಹಳ ಸಿಟ್ಟಿಲಿಂದ ಮಾತಾಡೋದ್ರ ಬದಲು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ calm and cool, then solve the problem in a very cool way, then you talk in a very opposite way. See, think that ನೀನು ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಬೈಬೇಕು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ you need not to do such things. You talk in a very polite way. Okay, so this is this last step what Anuj is expressing him. First he said him to look at his body postures or the gestures. So now he is advising him to have the control on his anxiety there. Then he is giving the last advice, that is always be cool and warm, then talk in a very opposite way what the feelings you have in you. So this is the last step or last advice what Anuj is telling. As simple as that, laughed Vikrant a little hopelessly. So what Vikrant is saying, that already I have given so many suggestions, but I'm not getting exactly the idea or the thing it may be used correctly, or I may get some of the solutions. So ಒಬ್ಬರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಟ್ಟು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಬಹಳ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಅ ಟೈಮ್. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ವಿಕ್ರಾಂತ್ ಇಸ್ ಟೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಸಮ್ವೇರ್ ಹಿ ಲೂಸ್ ದ ಹೋಪ್ ದೇರ್. ಸೊ ಆಸ್ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಸ್ ದಟ್. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಅನಿಸ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ somewhere he has to work on this, he has to concentrate on this, then he may get the solution for this also. So what he is telling is Vikrant kept up his exercises in self observation, practicing emotions. He did not feel, even attempting not to express feeling that came up hot and strong. He felt small stirrings of a change. He could see things more objectively, even when he could not control his reactions. His parents were less, listening more. He noticed that instead of both of them in one voice at points of control or fiction, one spoke while the other refrained. This was leading to much more interaction, except on the subject of Anuj. So now, what Vikrant did is, Vikrant started observing his body, his breathing, his body postures, and muscle contraction, and somewhere he found that tightening of his temples. So he started looking at these things. But whereas always one thing he did is, somewhere the express feeling that came up hot and strong. He stopped talking. He stopped using a hot and a strong words. ಸಿಟ್ಟಾಗಿ ಬೈಯೋದು, ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ ಬೈಯೋದು, ಹೌದಾ, ಸಿಟ್ಟಿಂದ ಬಂದಂತ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನ ಹಿ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಬಿಟ್ stopped there. He had the control over such things. Now he felt small stirrings of a change. ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲೋ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಥರದ್ದು ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಎಲ್ಲೋ ನಾನು ಬದಲಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಅಂಡ್ he could see things more objectively, even when he could not control his reactions. But somewhere what he did is, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವು ಬೇರೆ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಾಯ್ತಂದ್ರೆ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಿ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ದೇ, ವಿ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ ಗುಡ್ bonding or the good friendship there. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ we have to have the control on our feelings or the expressions. So just he started looking on those things, and somewhere he found that his parents were pushing less and listening more. When he started having the control over his expressions, somewhere he found that ದಿನ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದಂಗೆ ಅವ್ರ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ನು ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ, ಹೇಳೋದನ್ನ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಅವ್ನು ಹೇಳೋದನ್ನ ಕೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸಿಂಗ್ ಲೆಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲಿಸನಿಂಗ್ ಮೋರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಇದನ್ನು ಅವನಿಗೆ ಏನಾಯ್ತು, ಒಂದು ಸಮ್ವೇರ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹಿ ಡಿಡ್ ಇಸ್, he noticed that instead of both of them speaking in one way of points, control of friction, one spoke while the other refrained. So ಒಬ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಒಬ್ರು ಆದಷ್ಟು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದ್ರು. ಅಂಡ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ they found that somewhere there is a gap ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಯ್ತು, ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತು, ಸೈಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತು ಅಂತ, ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನಮ್ಮಿಬ್ಬರ ಮಗನ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ನಡುವೆ ಅಂತ. they found that, and somewhere when mother used to speak, father used to be kept quiet, he used to keep quiet. Then whenever father used to start speaking, mother used to be silence there. So he found that, Vikrant found these things, and this was leading to much more interaction, except on the subject of Anuj. So Anuj and Vishya Bittu, always they used to speak about his school, tuition classes, coaching classes, but whereas they not at all asked anything about Anuj. So what Vikrant wanted is always he found his parents were talking about his career, medicine, medical seat, entrance exam, coaching classes, tuition, but they were all always avoiding some things that what about his their children, his their child's interest or hobbies, or what about his career, what he thinks, what he likes, what he desires. But that is what Vikrant wanted. Their parents want to talk or notice or to observe what he want to become. So now when these things started happening there in his life, one day what happened, his mother, while they were all sitting for breakfast, what she does is, are you still hobnobbing with that character? What is his name? Asked his mother at breakfast one morning. Because they were always talking about his career also, they didn't even speak about Anuj. Now the first time on the breakfast, during breakfast, Vikrant's mother, she asked, are you still hobnobbing with that character? What is his name? Asked his mother at breakfast one morning. His father's silence was expectant. Vikrant observed his temples tighten, his haunches, shoulders straighten out in confrontation, his pulse become irregular. His name is Anuj, mommy. He replied, Anuj J. Anuj is a friend, in fact, more. He teaches from him. I have learned many things, things that are hard to explain. This was the first time, we have seen there the mother is asking about his friend. And even she's not asking anything good about Anuj, but whereas she's saying that, are you still hobnobbing? Are you still uh, going or having in touch with him, or you are uh, associating with him, or you are meeting him, that character, what is his name? Now what Vikrant does is he says that his name is Anuj and he is a very good friend of him. And what he observed very carefully is that the guidance what Anuj has given him is just to observe, or just to look at his body postures there. Just his Anuj, Vikrant started observing his temples tighten, ನರಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಬಿಗಿತ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾರೆ, then his haunch, his shoulders straighten out in confrontation. So you he found that somewhere they are not the dislikes towards Anuj. ತಾಯಿ ತಂದೆಯರಿಬ್ರು ಅನುಜ್ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಆ ಮಾತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಹಿ ಫೌಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಆ ಬಾಡಿ ಆ ದೇಹದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಯ್ತ್ರಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ he said that not only he said his name, but whereas he's saying that mummy, his name is Anuj, he's a good friend of me, in fact he's very good friend, and also he teaches me a lot. ಅವ್ನು ನನಗೆ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾನೆ. and from him I have learnt many things. Whatever things I have learned now, those are all from my friend Anuj, a photographer, and they are hard to explain. He has told me so many things, he has said me so many things, I have learned many things which are hard to express. ನನಗೆ ಅದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. This is the first time they are talking about Anuj now. Vikrant is talking to his parents about Anuj, and he is little bit found that they are, even his mother who is asking him about Anuj, she is asking him about Anuj, she is even not happy, or she is not showing some liking towards Anuj. He found that, Vikrant found that. So now he's saying that I have learned many things but from him, and even they are all hard to explain. Means they are hard here is ಹೇಳಿಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಹೇಳಿಕೆ ಆಗ್ಲಾರ್ದಂಥ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಅವನಿಂದ ಕಲ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. Yes, but he will not be sitting for your entrance test, will he? If you lose your grip on class 11, you will never catch up in class 12, said his mother assertively. ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ his father was silent. He was just listening what the conversation was there between his mother, his wife, and his son. So now what his mother is telling is, when Vikrant said that he has learned many things from his friend Anuj, what she is telling is, yes, you have learned, you might have learned what he is. Because of him, ಅವನು ಬಂದು ನಿನ್ನ entrance exam ಕೂತು ಬರೆಯೋದಿಲ್ಲ. He will be not coming for your entrance exam, will he? No, you have to have the grip on your class, as you have to look onto your class 12, because that is the turning point, that is the period you have to look on your career, that you have to concentrate on your coaching classes. He is not the one who will sit for your entrance exam. Avun bariyala exam. You have to have the grip on your class 11 and class 12 so that you can easily appear for the entrance exam. As Vikrant felt his temples, now he started, Thai Helvekadre, he started looking at his body postures, their gestures. As Vikrant felt his temples throb, a sudden calm entered his heart. If I am allowed space for new interest, I will also find space for what is important for a career, he said quietly. As Vikrant looking at his temples there, somewhere on yellow, ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಬೀಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಸಮ್ವೇರ್ ಸಡನ್ ಕಾಮ್ನೆಸ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಯಾರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸಮ್ವೇರ್ ಹಿ ಫೆಲ್ಟ್ ದಟ್ what he expressing is to his mother is, if I am allowed space for a new interest. Look at this, the first time he is uh, took the guidance from Anuj. He's talking about his interest now. He's saying that if I am allowed, ನೀವು ನನಗೆ allow ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ for my new interest, I will also find space for what is important for my career. What are the things for your asking me to concentrate more on is for my medical seat. But whereas when you allow me to get into my interest, ನೀವು ನನಗೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್, ನನ್ನ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡಿ, even I will also concentrate more on my career. So this is the first time he is talking about his interest there. So whereas Anuj has said him to have a control over his expressions and have a patience, and he asked him to talk in a cool and a warm way. So this is the first time he is talking to his mother. He is saying that if I am allowed, if he will be allowed have a space for his, ನೀವು ನನಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ, ನನ್ನ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಬೆಳಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ, even I will also concentrate on my entrance exam or class 12th exam. So this is the first time he is talking to his mother about his interest now. This time it was his father who spoke. Fine, try to achieve balance, we will be with you. So look at this. At the end, now Vikrant observes there somewhere solutions are getting solved there. Now after mother, now father speaks there. Okay, we are with you, we will be with you. Just look at how you will balance both. They know that now their son Vikrant is little bit interested in the photography, isn't that? Because his friend Anuj is a photographer. He had given him one camera. Their parents found him always sometimes clicking some photos, and he was reading some of the photography books. So what his father is telling them, so try yourself, balance both. First the career, entrance exam, 12th class, then your interest. Try to balance and achieve more in the two ways there, two career, two things, and we will be with you. Now he got the support from his father also. He's saying that just to balance two things. So at the end of a class 12, Vikrant enrolled for classes at a coaching center for a medical entrance test. He did this with an awareness that it was the right thing for him to do. So now what Vikrant did is, earlier also he found when his parents were giving some pressure on him, were putting pressure on him, found that whereas their advice is very good, because medical seat, getting medical seat, and finding his career in the medicines also is very good. So now when their parents has given him permission to get to have an interest, they have respected his interest also. Now they wanted him to balance both. Now what first thing Vikrant did is, he went to searched one of the coaching classes, very good coaching classes, and he enrolled his name there, and he has joined the classes, and he did this with an awareness that it was the right thing for him to do. So first thing, when their parents had allowed them him to go into his interest also, ನೀನು ಏನು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್, ನೀನು ಏನು ಹಾಬಿ ಅಂತ ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಉಪಯೋಗ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋ, ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾಡು. ಬಟ್ ವೇರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಇನ್ ಕರಿಯರ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೋದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ, ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹಿ ಡಿಡ್ ಇಸ್, ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಹಿ ವೆಂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಹಿ ಎನ್ರೋಲ್ಡ್ ಹಿಸ್ ನೇಮ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಕೋಚಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್. ದೆನ್ ಹಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಹಿಸ್ classes, as well as he found somewhere there his interest also. ಎರಡನ್ನು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ the Vikrant will move into his life. This is the story of the boy called Vikrant here, who is in a 11th class, and after that he will complete the 12th, then he will go to the entrance exam. ಇದು ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ತಾಯಿಯವ್ರದ್ದು, the parents desires he fulfills, and whereas their parents also fulfills as his desire, that is about his interest. ಅವರು ಅವನ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂತ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು. So he also first is he enrolled his name into one of the coaching classes, and he started looking on his entrance exam. So here the friend Anuj is a very good friend of him, because he is the one who made him to resolve or solve all his conflicts between his parents. That is, the lesson name is A Question of a Space. This is what a space is. I think when you read the 37th paragraph, what Vikram says is, if I am allowed space for new interest, if you allow me to go into my interest, if you give me chance to look into or find some my hobbies, or concentrate on more on my hobbies, then I will also look into find out some of the coaching classes, and I will also join them. So here the lesson name, A Question of a Space, that is what here in the 37th paragraph is clearly mentioned, how Vikrant tells his desires about his interest to his parents, and also he will be successful there. On ಎರಡು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಫಾದರ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, then he will do also that when we read the last paragraph also. So this is a story of a boy Vikrant, and the lesson is a question of a space. So read the lesson after the completion of this video. So I want you to read more about Anuj here, because ನಿಮಗೂ ಅದು ಬಹಳ ಉಪಯೋಗ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. So this somewhere we come across such things also in our life, when we are in a dilemma. We will be not getting exact picture what to do there. Somewhere we get some suggestions from our elders or some of our friends also, but whereas this lesson is also very good, we find that Anuj is a very good friend of Vikrant, because he suggested in a very good way also. Okay, so read the lesson correctly and note down the new words and get their meanings also. Okay students, thank you very much.